Hey, this is Chris, keeping real facts over fear. How are you today? I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day here in North Carolina. It's 82 degrees. Good relative humidity number. I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say it's about 60%. You know, you just don't. It's enough if you're working outside. You sweat a little bit, but other than that, if you get out of the sun, it's absolutely gorgeous. Get away from that radiant energy of the sun. Why is this thing not? It's better, I guess. I've got this holder, and it won't stay still. Well, it's a beanbag basically with an arm on it, and so it's like, I think that's better. Anyway, I was listening. I read something popped up. I subscribed to the Unheard website. UNHERD, which has a double meaning, of course. One is they are trying to bring voices forward that often aren't heard on mainstream media, even if those voices are often quite liberal, they are not. I don't need to explain how liberal media works, do I? If you don't agree with the party line, it doesn't matter if you're liberal or conservative, your viewpoints don't get published. And so they do that. And of course, that's one part of the meaning. And then unheard is like, quit being part of the herd. Don't be a lemming. Think for yourself. Gather information and make intelligent decisions based on that information. That's a thought, right? And so there's an article this morning I don't really agree with. Well, it's not that I don't agree with it. I just don't. Well, let me tell you. How about that? Have I teased it enough yet? I listen to too much radio. So there are these things. The variants are coming. Like Paul Revere riding through the. I don't know. Was it night or was it early in the morning? I don't remember actually. The redcoats are coming. The variants are coming. The variants are coming. 1 if by land, 2 if by sea, 3 if by air, because we have to include that part of it nowadays. And of course, I'm making light of something that is somewhat serious, and I think it's important to joke about things every now and then, and not be quite so dour and gray and depressing, because COVID's just one thing out of a whole lifetime of experiences. It's just like, if you're going to let that one thing take over your life, I feel bad for you. I really do. Unless you're someone who that's the way it is. If you live in a nursing home and you're over the age of 75, but that's a serious thing. But for most people who are under the age of 50, this is nothing. It really is nothing. I'm not saying people haven't died from it. I'm just saying the incidence of death among the general population is so minuscule that it's not worth even really talking about. That's how low your risk is. But anyway, he was talking about vaccines and the new variants. I am just rambling, aren't I? But I'm going to continue. Forget it. I'm just going to ramble on, and you can listen or you cannot. You can decide to turn me off anytime you want. New variants are coming. I guess we're up to Delta or Epsilon. They have to do the Greek thing. It makes them sound smarter. Makes it sound more, gives it more weight, gives it more gravitas. Remember? No, let's not even get into that. Things just kind of pop into your mind. Gravitas. It was like this big word back. I don't know when Reagan was president. And we find out that journalism is just like everybody else. They're just a bunch of kids on a playground, and somebody says something, everybody else repeats it. It's like being in middle school again, except they're supposed to be adults and a little bit smarter. Anyway, we are up to however many variants we're up to, and of course, if it's a variant, then automatically it is assigned a value of greater danger to everyone, and it doesn't really matter what the facts really are, because there are no facts, because we're not going to experiment on human beings to find out what the facts are. And so we have a whole slew of scientists, and I mean that. I don't care if you are a scientist. If you're making dyed and Cast in stone? Cast in stone? Cast in concrete would be better. We don't cast stones usually unless we're throwing them. If you're saying that the new variants are worse because they're new variants, I don't really care what you have to say. And you immediately go down the totem pole. No, you go up the totem pole, right? Because a totem pole, the most important figure is at the bottom. There you go. I bet you didn't know that. So you're going up the totem pole. And he's suggesting that the author suggested that, we might need a third jab. And based on what kind of science, I have no idea. He's in the UK. They use AstraZeneca over there. Not really quite sure what the efficacy of the AstraZeneca vaccine is. I do know. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything about what kind of vaccine it is because I think it's a more traditional vaccine. Where you take a virus and kill it, and then do this thing to it, and then make it. I don't know. I hate to stray too far from what I actually think I know. I mean, if I think I know something, I'll go ahead and say it. If I'm not really sure, I'm not going to say it. So I'm not going to say it. But anyway, he's suggesting that a third jab from, like, for example, if you had the AstraZeneca vaccine, maybe and I think he said Moderna, maybe if you get one of those two, that it's a hetero vaccination kind of thing. In other words, if you get two different kinds of vaccines, maybe that will make your body more responsive to any kind of variants that come up. And I'm like, I don't even understand how that might even be true. How could it be true? I mean, both vaccines are targeting they exhibit the same spike structure to the body's immune system, and so I don't understand how taking two different vaccines. I mean, it's kind of like, I'm going to take a vitamin C tablet today, and to make it more effective, I'm going to take a vitamin C gummy tomorrow, and somehow that's going to overlap and increase the effectiveness of its effectiveness. And there are so many things about this pandemic that bother me from an intellectual point of view. I mean, the total lack of any kind of real fact. Like, is our immune system going to, if we get the vaccine, like he got the vaccine a year ago because he was part of the trial, and he's still got antibodies. It's still working as far as he knows. It's like everybody was like, well, we don't really know if getting the vaccine is going to be any kind of real guarantee that you're not. It's like, what did coronavirus like appear from outer space, from a different species of humanoid, and now it's here, and we're not really sure about, oh my gosh, we just don't know anything about this. And I can understand that people saying we might not know some specific things about this, but I don't understand anyone who's been saying for the last 12 months, well, we just don't even know anything. I mean, it's like, well, I guess your education is pretty much worthless, right? I mean, why wouldn't it respond the same way as any other virus to a vaccine? We're still human beings, right? We still got the same immune system. There are other coronaviruses out there. Oh, and by the way, these new coronavirus vaccines did not go through animal trials, which is pretty significant, because we all know that the first step before you experiment on humans, you experiment on animals first. And so I thought that was from the comment section, and it just happens to be true. And so we've skipped over a whole. And so if you want to talk about why I don't trust the vaccine and why I'm not going to get it until a couple of years has gone by and we can make make sure there are no untoward side effects. There you go. Just another arrow in my quiver, you know. Why I'm not going to do it. Have I gone on long enough? I think I have. So to sum up, we have people on the internet and even on websites that I personally enjoy, even if I don't enjoy all the opinions, but I'm still willing to read a reasonable opinion and judge for myself, saying we need to get a third shot because the first shots might not be good enough because there's variants of the virus that they might not protect against, and we just don't know, and we need to constantly operate from a state of fear for the rest of our lives. I mean, that's basically the upshot. I mean, it's not what he said, but that's the subtext. We have to fear. We fear. It is 1984, and it's not eternal war. It's eternal pandemic. There we go. Except there's not really as a percentage of the population, not a whole lot of people dying from it. I'm just going to go ahead and publish this because that's how I roll. I might do a more succinct version later, or I might not. I don't know. It's my channel, right? Well, actually, it's Lee's channel. There you go. But did I go down enough rabbit trails on this? I think I have. The bottom line is the bottom line. This vaccine is being distributed under an emergency use authorization. It is not approved. And you need to consider and weigh that fact carefully against your own personal situation before you let somebody stick a needle in your arm and inject you with that vaccine. That's the deal. Okay? That's as real as I can keep it. And those facts are indisputable. All right. There you go. Now we have ended on something incredibly heavy. Don't be a sheep. Think for yourself. Make an analysis, do a cost-benefit analysis for your condition, for your situation, and act accordingly. And if something bad happens in 2 years, you can sue one of the manufacturers of these vaccines and get some money for it, because right now they're immune. And let that weigh into your decision making as well. All right, we'll see you on the next actual real fact-filled video.